Now at 9, new details released on circumstances surrounding the deaths of 2 people struck by a train in Jasper County. Plus, how a donation to the Rafa House in Joplin will help survivors of trafficking and abuse. And the Henry M. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex in Joplin celebrates 1 year in operation.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Authorities in Jasper County arrest 3 people and recover more than $90,000 worth of stolen property. Authorities say 48-year-old Kenneth Pippin, 36-year-old Christopher Gordon, and 62-year-old Terry Ward worked together to steal $92,000 worth of equipment, including a pickup truck, a flatbed trailer, 3 lawnmowers, and landscaping tools. Most of the equipment was recovered on September 11th. That's also when Pippin was arrested. Gordon and Ward were arrested last Thursday during a follow-up investigation. All 3 are charged with felony stealing. Investigators now say alcohol might have been involved in the deaths of 2 men struck by a train in Jasper County yesterday. It happened on the railroad bridge near Highway 171 and Pennell Street in Carl Junction around 2:20 yesterday afternoon. Authorities have identified the victims as 24-year-old Dakota Bittner of Webb City and 39-year-old Terry Long of Oronogo. Investigators say Bittner's truck had struck a concrete block near the base of the railroad bridge. A witness said the 2 men were on the bridge, and despite the sounding of the train horn, they were struck by the train. Authorities say evidence at the scene indicated that alcohol may have been a factor in the incident, but they did not elaborate. Authorities respond to reports of a woman falling off the Bluff Trail in Wildcat Glades in Joplin. It happened just after 12:30 this afternoon. Responders believe the woman fell 30 to 40 feet near the area known as Mother Nature's Crack. Authorities say the victim was injured but responsive. For updates on these breaking news stories and be the first to know about new ones, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joining us now with a first look at your forecast.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a warm and windy day for us today. Temperatures again, we've been climbing steadily upward through the weekend into today. 78 was our high. Average high 62, so you got to go back to 1 week ago. You remember we had a 5-day stretch where we were only in the 40s for highs. Now we're back into the 70s. Record high, really not that far from an 81 on this date. Still the southerly winds kicking in. They have calmed down over the past few hours, but these are going to crank up again as we get into Tuesday. We do have some clouds kind of skirting through, nothing underneath the clouds. We can't rule out a random sprinkle or 2 later on tonight, but in general, it's a pretty calm night. So if we look through the night, slide back near 60. We start the day with sunshine. Again, tomorrow it's going to be warm. It's going to be windy. We do have some changes by midweek. We'll look at that here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. In November of last year, the Cornell Complex opened its doors in Joplin, and today they celebrated their first anniversary with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. KOAM's Elise Noe has the story.
This November marks 1 year since the official opening of the Henry M. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. Now that a full year of performance and visual arts opportunities at the complex has passed, the public was invited to a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the complex with the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce.
So we just wanted to welcome everyone back again to celebrate this huge milestone and just to remind people that there's tons going on at the Cornell Complex all the time.
Connect to Culture, one of the primary resident organizations in the complex, has put on 39 performances and school shows since the complex has been open.
We've had over 2,500 students be able to take part in our performances via those school show opportunities for free. And it's just very inspiring because a lot of those kids have never been in a performance hall. While the complex is celebrating the 1-year anniversary, it's also a time to celebrate all the work and planning it took to create a central space for performance and visual arts in Joplin. I think that this vision was a long time coming. It was, way back in 2007 was the first discussions of there needing to be a destination for the arts in Joplin. And so just being able to see, that vision become reality has been an amazing experience.
And the complex has provided entertainment to more than 28,000 guests and has hosted more than 400 events.
We're looking forward to just continuing growing. Everyone's so proud of what we've put on so far, and just the possibilities are endless.
1 year down and many more to go. In Joplin, Elise Noe, KOAM News.
It's definitely been a fun journey to watch. And going into this holiday season, Connect to Culture will be hosting a slew of holiday performances, including the Nutcracker with the Midwest Regional Ballet. The Joplin City Council today approved a request from Acer Technologies for an abatement of property taxes on its East 26th Street facility as the business looks to expand. Acer bought the building from Zaf Energy Systems a few years ago, and now they want to add on to the building, a plan expected to create 350 jobs within 6 years. As they work on that expansion, they wanted a tax break from the city.
Yes, we're targeting around 350 jobs. They'll be high-quality jobs. Very anxious to get this program started and get those people on board.
The council tonight also approved a contract with Olson Studio to complete work on the Ewart Splash Park project. A new scholarship endowment for Diamond High School graduates is now raising funds with a $250,000 goal. A match promises to double donations to $500,000. When the endowment meets its fundraising goal, it'll provide about $20,000 annually for scholarships to Diamond High graduates. You can find more information and make a donation at cfozarks.org/diamond. Well, the Sam's Club in Joplin is making a donation to benefit children battling serious illnesses. The store donated nearly $61,000 to Freeman Hospital for the Children's Miracle Network. It's part of an annual fundraising campaign Sam's Club does for the network. Officials says it'll help area kids get the medical care they need.
We just start with a month of doing different things. Our banner program's the biggest part of it. But we reach out and see what equipment they may need or put a goal for the associates. Inner battles between Sam's Clubs, we like to beat everybody in the nation, but at the same time, we know everything stays local and that's what drives us.
The Joplin Sam's Club has been hosting the fundraising campaign for 35 years. It's raised a total of $460,000 for the Children's Miracle Network. That's awesome. Well, the Arvest Foundation is assisting a local group's campaign to expand its services. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke with Rafa International's CEO about the donation.
We're just so grateful to the Arvest Foundation. It means the world to have local support for the work that we're doing for children right here in our community.
The Joplin chapter of Rafa International is $25,000 closer to its goal thanks to a donation from the Arvest Foundation.
Formerly a church, and it's going to be the perfect space to increase trauma counseling services here in our community, but also to move our U.S. headquarters there as well.
Rafa is just one of the multiple community organizations that Arvest grants money to every year.
One way or the other, and so anything we can do to help them along their journey is something we're going to do.
Internationally, historically, Rafa has been focused on residential aftercare for child survivors of trafficking and sexual abuse. A big part of that, obviously, is going to be trauma therapy, and that's something that we've been able to bring here to the United States.
Although Rafa is known for international work, building a headquarters in Joplin will also help make trauma counseling more accessible.
The quality trauma counseling services are really lacking in our region. We have a lot of kids that need these services in our community and throughout Southwest Missouri. And what we're hoping to do is to pilot a really healthy model that can be reproduced in other areas where there's lack of services.
The donation is funded by Arvest shareholders, not deposits.
We're not using our customers' money. It's a totally different pile of money, so no fears there.
Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Rafa House says renovations are planned to be finished by next spring. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly announces increased support for survivors of domestic violence. Kansas is receiving $1.6 million in federal grants to help prevent family, domestic, and dating violence, to support victims, and to increase non-custodial parents' time with their children safely. Hope Unlimited in Allen County receives a total of more than $60,000, and the Safe House Crisis Center in Crawford County will receive more than $90,000. Coming up, slowing the spread of the cold and flu.
The CDC expands a traveler-based surveillance program ahead of what could be a busy cold and flu season. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
The Kansas Department of Transportation announces approved bids for state highway construction and maintenance projects. More than $15 million will help fund projects in and around our area, including Allen County, Neosho, Wilson County, Woodson, and Montgomery County. Statewide projects will also receive more than $1 million in funding. Now, some of the bids may include multiple projects that have been bundled based on proximity and type of work. The CDC is expanding an infectious disease surveillance program at 4 major U.S. airports. It comes ahead of what could be a busy cold and flu season. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seri has more.
As millions prepare to travel for the holidays, the CDC is expanding its traveler-based surveillance program to test for more than 24 pathogens, including the flu and RSV. The agency says the changes will take place at 4 major airports. The program launched in 2021 as a way to test international passengers for COVID-19. It operates in 7 major U.S. airports and obtains samples through voluntary nasal swabbing and airport wastewater. The expansion comes ahead of what could be a busy season for healthcare providers.
As we, I think, have stopped masking, people are now spreading disease in a different way than we had a little bit of a break perhaps during the pandemic. But now we just see an uptick in these viruses.
Public health officials expect hospitalizations for COVID-19, the flu and RSV to top pre-pandemic levels. CDC data show as many as 80,000 children under 5 are hospitalized with RSV each year. It's why doctors are scrambling to restock a medication that provides short-term protection for infants. The FDA approved the antibody over the summer, but demand is still outpacing supply.
The increased demand, that means inventory has shot all the way down. So I guess the manufacturers are trying to ramp up inventory of those and get those sent out. But everybody has a waiting list.
Doctors are urging pregnant women to get an RSV vaccine, which can reduce hospitalization among babies in the first 6 months. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later we'll hear from the Missouri Southern Lions as they look to finish off the regular season with a win.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a very mild and very windy day for us today. Temperatures, they warmed into the upper 70s for highs, actually near record highs. We look great outside right now. Nice shot. This is the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex on top of the Cornell building, looking off toward the northeast, downtown Joplin. All right, look at our temps warming up. So lower 70s yesterday. We only dropped back into lower 60s, and then today into the upper 70s, and I think most of us will push 80 or right at 80 by the time we head into the daytime hours for us tomorrow, and then also on Wednesday. All right, let's go outside. Southerly winds have calmed down quite a bit compared to what we had earlier today, so they're not near as strong, but still it's a little bit on the breezy side, and these winds will pick up once again as we get into Tuesday afternoon, especially in our southern counties. Gusts 20 upwards to 30. Now, as we get into Tuesday night and Wednesday, look at this, gusts 25, 30, maybe 35 miles per hour. So it's going to be windy, but it also stays mild over the next few days. For you tonight, 65 by 11, 62 by 7. Overnight low about 59, back to 69 by 10 a.m. We do have some clouds kind of skirting through. Can't rule out a random sprinkle late tonight, especially in our northern counties. But besides that, not a whole bunch going on here. This is our next storm system, our next waves. It's not very organized, but we are seeing a couple little waves. You can follow the arrows that kind of drape across the northern parts of the plains. It doesn't have a lot of moisture, but it will change our weather up a little bit by the time we get into the middle of the work week as this wave kind of rotates out. As it does so, rain mainly to our south, but we do cool down behind that storm system. Now, if we look all the way into the weekend, there's no big storm systems heading in our direction. I don't think it's until about the middle to latter half of next week we start to get a bigger storm system into our neck of the woods. Now, until that happens, we actually overall get pretty decent weather. Tonight near 60, we'll start with some clouds. We'll warm mid-70s by noon. I think most of us will top out near 80, 78, 79, 80 degrees across the board. So it's going to be a pretty good day. It's going to be windy again. Tomorrow night, southerly winds keep our temperatures up. We only drop back low to mid-60s during the overnight hours. Now, Wednesday, watch this. Here comes a front barreling in during the afternoon. So here's 4 p.m. Behind it, we'll have some clouds and a few random showers. I think ahead of this front, we should push 80, maybe 81. And then our temperatures will drop a little bit as we head into the evening as the front drops through. Rain kind of picks up maybe in our southern counties by Thursday morning, but I think really most of us stay dry as that system pushes through. It's just really going to cool us back down. All right, 64 in the morning, 72 by 11, 80 by 3 p.m. We'll drop back to 71 tomorrow evening. Official high of 80, 81 on Wednesday. High of only 58 Thursday, so quite a bit cooler, a few morning showers. 60 on Friday. Looks pretty good into the weekend. Sunny skies, high temps into the middle 60s, and we hold into the 60s all the way through a good chunk of next week.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up, fewer people means fewer consumers.
Low birth rates could spell trouble for the future health of the economy. I'm Jackie Ibanez with a look at the potential impacts straight ahead.
Deciding to become a parent is a very personal choice, but data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reveals birth rates are plummeting. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez takes a closer look at how it could all impact the economy.
Sharp declines in birth rates could be birthing new problems for the future health of the economy. Between 2007 and 2022, the nationwide birth rate dropped by roughly 23%, according to data from the CDC.
In the near future, we are going to have a change in the composition of the workforce.
If this downward trend continues, Justine Hervé of the Stevens Institute of Technology believes it will initially create workplaces with a higher number of older employees and fewer younger people on staff.
Jobs that were previously held by young people are now going to be vacant. And so the question that's important here is, are we going to be able to retrain people so that these jobs get filled?
An aging society with a shrinking birth rate can also reduce the number of eligible workers paying taxes that help cover older people's pensions and health care.
Fewer active workers are going to have to support a bigger population of retirees. And if you combine this with the fact that there's rising inflation and more difficulty to access home owning for the younger generation, that's probably going to imply some hardships for the younger generations.
Hervé says it could force governments to restructure tax systems to account for deficits in social programs.
Perhaps diverge a little bit from income and sales tax to fund their social programs, and instead rely more on other types of taxation. It could be environmental taxes or property taxes instead.
While fewer workers could trigger wage increases as companies try and fill empty positions, Hervé says businesses may start relying more on automated machines instead. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
More than 4,000 baby loungers sold on Amazon are being recalled over suffocation risks. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says certain Yucca baby loungers do not meet safety requirements, which includes not having a stand and failing to meet side height requirements. The recall covers Yucca baby loungers that were purchased on or after June 23rd, 2022. No injuries have been reported so far. And 2 more companies have issued recalls of their cinnamon applesauce pouches due to possible lead contamination. Schnucks branded pouches sold, Wise branded pouches, and Wana Banana Apple Cinnamon Fruit Puree sold by Sam's Club, Amazon, and Dollar Tree were already recalled last month. The FDA says 7 cases of possible lead exposure have been found in 5 states, including Missouri and Arkansas. Up next, if you're looking ahead to your next vacation, we'll check out National Geographic's cool list of places to travel. Looking to update your travel bucket list? Check out National Geographic's cool list of places to travel. In the United States, the entire states of New York and Texas made the cut. Also making the cool list for the U.S., Miami, Florida. About half of the 30 places on the list are in Europe, including the ruins of Pompeii and the mountains of Albania. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. An aid package for Israel is in limbo as lawmakers debate adding a package for Ukraine. Plus, President Biden announces a $16 billion investment to improve the nation's railroad system.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The Senate returned today, but with no intention of taking up a House-passed Israel-only aid package. It comes as lawmakers debate the future of Ukrainian aid. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has more.
As the Israel-Hamas war grinds on, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling on the U.S. to send more military aid for his country's fight with Russia. He's also rejecting comments made by his top general that the war has reached a stalemate.
The President of the United States and Congress, bipartisan support, all these people, they know that I am not ready to speak with the terrorists because their word is nothing.
But the House and Senate are not on the same page regarding a new aid package. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is not taking up a House-passed bill that only funds Israel using money intended for the IRS. President Biden says he will veto it and instead urges Congress to pass a $106 billion supplemental spending bill funding Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and border security, a non-starter for most House Republicans.
It's got to be a standalone, and it's got to be a pay for. We're through borrowing money, writing checks on accounts we have no money in.
GOP senators remain divided, with some floating policy changes at the southern border in exchange for votes on a global aid package. Democrats say without Ukrainian aid, American troops could be drawn into a greater European conflict.
It's better, in my view, to support the Ukrainian people now and their forces than to see a situation where we are pulled into a conflict with our young men and women.
And there's an urgent need to hammer out a deal with a government shutdown less than 2 weeks away. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
White House staff is working to remove pro-Palestinian graffiti left over the weekend on the North Grounds guard station. Demonstrators left red handprints and anti-Biden messages, including scrawling the words "Genocide Joe." There was also red paint splattered on a security screening location used by the Secret Service. Speakers at the demonstration accused the Biden administration of having blood on its hands for failing to call for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. Well, President Biden returning to his roots today to meet with Amtrak employees and announce major investments for the railroads. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
How are you, pal? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Just a few miles from his home in Delaware, President Biden met with Amtrak employees Monday to promote new federal investments for the railroads.
We're trying to make train travel easier, faster, safer, more reliable. Why, in the United States of America, do we not have the best rail system in the world?
Trains hold a special place in the president's heart. He logged more than 1 million miles on Amtrak back and forth from Delaware to Washington during his 36 years as a U.S. Senator.
Amtrak wasn't just a way to get home to family. The conductors and engineers became my family.
The Biden administration is now investing more than $16 billion in new funding for 25 passenger rail projects between Boston and Washington. The White House says these projects will modernize an aging rail system, help trains run faster, and accommodate more people.
We're not just benefiting the millions of riders who count on this corridor, we're benefiting an entire country whose economy would suffer if the Northeast Corridor weren't here for the U.S. economy.
The White House says this is the biggest investment in passenger rail service since the creation of Amtrak. And it's all part of the president's Bidenomics agenda. His economic policy he's hoping to win over voters with, as recent polls show he's now trailing former President Trump in several battleground states. Meanwhile, House Republicans are proposing an infrastructure bill that would cut Amtrak funding. If it passes, the president says he will veto it. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, a bit later, we'll have some tips to help you help your kids with their homework.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a very mild and very windy day for us today. Temperatures, they warmed into the upper 70s for highs, actually near record highs. We look great outside right now. Nice shot. This is the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex on top of the Cornell building, looking off toward the northeast, downtown Joplin. All right, look at our temps warming up. So lower 70s yesterday. We only dropped back into lower 60s, and then today into the upper 70s, and I think most of us will push 80 or right at 80 by the time we head into the daytime hours for us tomorrow, and then also on Wednesday. All right, let's go outside. Southerly winds have calmed down quite a bit compared to what we had earlier today, so they're not near as strong, but still it's a little bit on the breezy side, and these winds will pick up once again as we get into Tuesday afternoon, especially in our southern counties. Gusts 20 upwards to 30. Now, as we get into Tuesday night and Wednesday, look at this, gusts 25, 30, maybe 35 miles per hour. So it's going to be windy, but it also stays mild over the next few days. For you tonight, 65 by 11, 62 by 7. Overnight low about 59, back to 69 by 10 a.m. We do have some clouds kind of skirting through. Can't rule out a random sprinkle late tonight, especially in our northern counties. But besides that, not a whole bunch going on here. This is our next storm system, our next waves. It's not very organized, but we are seeing a couple little waves. You can follow the arrows that kind of drape across the northern parts of the plains. It doesn't have a lot of moisture, but it will change our weather up a little bit by the time we get into the middle of the work week as this wave kind of rotates out. As it does so, rain mainly to our south, but we do cool down behind that storm system. Now, if we look all the way into the weekend, there's no big storm systems heading in our direction. I don't think it's until about the middle to latter half of next week we start to get a bigger storm system into our neck of the woods. Now, until that happens, we actually overall get pretty decent weather. Tonight near 60, we'll start with some clouds. We'll warm mid-70s by noon. I think most of us will top out near 80, 78, 79, 80 degrees across the board. So it's going to be a pretty good day. It's going to be windy again. Tomorrow night, southerly winds keep our temperatures up. We only drop back low to mid 60s during the overnight hours. Now Wednesday, watch this. Here comes a front barreling in during the afternoon. So here's 4 p.m. Behind it, we'll have some clouds and a few random showers. I think ahead of this front, we should push 80, maybe 81. And then our temperatures will drop a little bit as we head into the evening as the front drops through. Rain kind of picks up maybe in our southern counties by Thursday morning, but I think really most of us stay dry as that system pushes through. It's just really going to cool us back down. All right, 64 in the morning, 72 by 11, 80 by 3 p.m. We'll drop back to 71 tomorrow evening. Official high of 80, 81 on Wednesday. High of only 58 Thursday, so quite a bit cooler, a few morning showers. 60 on Friday. Looks pretty good into the weekend. Sunny skies, high temps into the middle 60s, and we hold into the 60s all the way through a good chunk of next week.
Hard to believe in the 80s. Wow. Thanks, Doug. Well, coming up in sports, Pittsburgh State announces the first women's soccer head coach in program history. Plus, the latest Division II football rankings are released. Brock Baldridge has those stories and more.
Pittsburgh State Gorillas are coming off their first MIAA loss in over 2 seasons. Pitt State is still live to play the NCAA Division II playoffs, but Saturday's 1-point loss against Missouri Western certainly did not help.
Sometimes, the chips fall how they do, but, we beat ourselves in a couple areas where, we had some penalties, some late calls that, obviously don't go our way, but, regardless of the fact, we have to be better in our execution and just in our preparation. Today we didn't rise to the occasion, and, that unfortunately we fell a little short.
We got to do a better job. We got to have more discipline than that, especially in a tight football game that way. And, I think, disappointed in how we played, certainly, and we got to be better.
So after that 31-30 loss over the weekend, here's where Pitt State currently stands in the latest Division II regional rankings. If the season ended today, the Gorillas would be the number 3 seed in Super Region 3. The 3 seed would play the 6 seed, meaning Pittsburgh State would play Osheta Baptist in the first round of the playoffs. Of course, this could all change between now and Saturday. We'll have an official college football Divisional II bracket this Sunday when the final results are in. Well, Monday marks the final press conference for the Missouri Southern Lions football team. Missouri Southern is coming off of a loss to Emporia State this past Saturday. Now, the Lions look to finish the season strong on Senior Day.
We knew we were getting a good football team. It was their senior day. They got a lot of guys that have been here, been there since COVID, and you know, they just kind of brought the fight to us, and just a little bit overwhelming. But we're not discouraged. We're not down. We're not, oh, woe is me. We don't feel sorry for ourselves. We're excited about the next opportunity.
The big thing will be coming out hot, starting the game, trying to match what they do and show that we're here to compete. We're here to put our best game forward, and that we're ready to win a football game.
Well, it was only 3 months ago that the Pittsburgh State Athletic Program announced the addition of a women's soccer team. And now the Gorillas have named their first head coach in program history. West Brandstetter is the first women's soccer coach in program history for the Pitt State Gorillas. So here's what we know about him so far. Brandstetter was an assistant coach at Oral Roberts for the past 9 seasons. Last year, he led Oral Roberts to an 8-7-4 record. He also coached 16 all-conference performers and 16 newcomers and freshmen. Brandstetter comes from Sapulpa, Oklahoma. He's a graduate of the University of Tulsa. Well, today marks day 1 of the Divisional I men's college basketball season. The Kansas Jayhawks and the K-State Wildcats are both opening their seasons tonight. KU versus North Carolina Central. Jayhawks up 40 points with 2 minutes to go in the half. New transfer Hunter Dickinson with a nice pass to Nicholas Timberlake for the layup. Jayhawks up 42 points. Later in the half, under a minute to go, KU leads by 39. DeJuan Harris, nice pass to the 7-footer Dickinson who lays it in. And then in the second half now, KJ Adams posts up and he'll get the two-hand jam. Jayhawks are 1-0 to begin the season. KU wins at 99-56. Also, the Kansas State Wildcats open their season tonight against the USC Trojans in Las Vegas. This game had a late tip, but last check, it's the Trojans who lead K-State by 3 points, 23-20 in the first half. Well, the Webb City Cardinals boys soccer team is the number 1 seed in the Missouri Class 3 District 6 tournament. Cardinals are looking to bring home a district title. Webb City is playing on a neutral site in Branson tonight, facing Central Bulldogs of Springfield. Webb City was up 1-0 at halftime, but Springfield comes back to score 2 goals in the second half. And so Springfield Central is going to take down Webb City, and the Cardinals end their season with a 12-9 overall record. Speaking of Webb City, that brings us to our performance of the week, which is the Webb City Cardinal football team. Webb City scored 71 points over the Belton Pirates on Friday night. The Cards scored on their first 2 plays from scrimmage. Webb City now has to shift their focus to the Carthage Tigers for a district championship next week. Webb City and Carthage played earlier this season. It was Carthage who beat Webb City 20-13, so should be a fun rematch between those 2 schools again. Let's look for sports. We'll be back with more news after this.
It can be a source of stress for both parents and kids. Homework can take a toll on everyone in the house, but there are ways to get those after-school assignments done with your sanity intact. Mandy Gaither has 6 ways parents can help kids with homework.
After a long day at school and work, it can be the last thing anyone wants to do.
There's a lot of stress that happens around homework time in general.
6 things can set your family up for homework success. First, meet their basic needs. Grab a snack and drink if the child is hungry or thirsty. Second, set a homework routine. Get work done the same time each day, says Emily Mudd, a pediatric psychologist with the Cleveland Clinic.
For one child, it might be that they do their homework right after school, where another child, it might be after dinner. I'm making it just part of a structure.
Third, avoid distractions by putting any unneeded devices away. Fourth, work in a shared area of the home.
So they know that you're available to help them if needed.
Fifth, take brain breaks, especially if your child is having trouble focusing.
Getting outside if the weather is nice, getting some sunshine. It could be something as simple as taking a shower, getting some movement in, dancing.
Finally, parents, ask for help. If you don't know how to solve a math problem or don't understand a subject, it's okay to admit that.
You can model, I'm going to take a deep breath, I'm going to take a break, I'm going to, talk to the teacher to see how we can better manage this together. You really want to take those opportunities to model how to positively overcome challenges with your child.
Well, coming up, how you can stay the night in Martha Stewart's guest house if you're willing to pay a pretty penny. If you're interested in learning how to be the host with the most from one of the best, here's your chance. Booking.com has listed Martha Stewart's farm guest house for a one-night pre-Thanksgiving stay. The 1,800 square foot space in Bedford, New York is available November 18th for $11.23. The price honors the date of Thanksgiving this year. The experience includes a full itinerary created by Stewart. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a baby musk ox at Washington Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.